Hi guys, thanks for visiting my channel. Today we are going to be making tomato herb jam. Now this today's video is by request. Actually, I had a viewer contact me. They had watched my grilled meatloaf video. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out. Meatloaf on the grill is absolutely delicious. Anyway, in that video I had used tomato jam to make my meatloaf instead of ketchup, and as a matter of fact, tomato herb jam is referred to as grown-up ketchup, and that's what I used in my meatloaf. And they contacted me and asked me if I could, where they could find the video on the tomato jam, and unfortunately I had never done one. I meant to after I did my meatloaf video, and then I just kind of forgot about it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make tomato herb jam. It is a small batch. It comes from the all-new Ball Book of Canning. If you are a canner, you need this book. It's really great. It has some really great, delicious recipes in it, with some different twists, which makes it kind of fun. Sometimes you can get in a rut canning things the same, and it can get kind of boring. This has some fun recipes in it, and I've canned a lot of things in it, and I really enjoy this book. Anyway, this recipe is from this book, and this recipe only makes 4 half-pint jars. So you're only going to get 4 of the 8-ounce jars of it out of it. So if you're not a canner, you could still make this, and I'm sure it's got a lot of sugar and a lot of vinegar in it. So I'm sure it would be great in the refrigerator for a month or so, 2 months maybe. You could kind of use your own discretion on that. There's no guidelines on that I could find, but anyway, it's not something that you have to can. It is a high acid food, so we are going to water bath can it. So I am going to include instructions on water bath canning it if you're interested in that. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cook down our tomatoes. So you need to start with 6 pounds of plum type tomatoes. I'm using Roma. You want kind of a paste tomato. So whatever you can find or whatever you have on hand. Unfortunately, these did not come from my garden. Our garden, I feel so bad. We have planted twice. And as soon as we finished planting the second time after it got flooded out the first time, we got torrential downpours again all night long, the same day we planted. So we're trying to salvage what we can, and hopefully I will have some tomatoes to can up, but unfortunately these are not from my garden. But anyway, I'm using Romas, so I've got 6 pounds of Roma tomatoes, and you just need to core them and then chop them, which is what I've done. So we're gonna go ahead and put those in the Dutch oven. It looks like it's gonna make a lot, but this is gonna cook down a lot, so you're not gonna have nearly this much. Like I said, it's gonna cook down to 4 half-pint jars. So there's our 6 pounds of the cored and chopped tomatoes. We're going to add a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. And then I have 4 cloves of garlic. The recipe calls for 3. We love garlic, so I added an extra one. And then we need 3 bay leaves. Now, if you don't like the flavor of bay, you could always cut back on that if you want to. But I'm going to put my bay leaves in there, and then we're going to turn this up to a medium-high heat. You're going to cook it for about an hour with the lid off. We want it to reduce by about half. So when we're there, I will bring you back, and we're going to add some more delicious, yummy ingredients to our tomato herb jam. Okay guys, I just wanted to bring you in close. We are about halfway through our cooking time for the tomatoes. And as you can see, they've broken down, and they're starting to cook down, which is what we want. We want them to reduce by half. You want to stir it fairly frequently. So we're going to go another 30 minutes, and then when it starts to get thick, I'm going to bring you back, and then we're going to add our other yummy goodies to our tomato jam. Okay guys, we are back. It hasn't been quite an hour, but we are definitely reduced by half. So we're ready to add some more ingredients to our tomato jam. So I'm just going to give it a good stir. I do want to say that you want to make sure you're stirring this so that nothing sticks to the bottom. So now we are going to add 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. We are going to add 1/2 cup of balsamic vinegar. whatever kind you like. But you guys have heard me talk about this before. The Kirkland brand from Costco is amazing. I really enjoy that balsamic vinegar. And then we're also going to need a quarter of a cup of dry white wine, whatever you like. I really enjoy Pinot Grigio, and that's what I usually have on hand, so that's what we're going to use today. So we need a quarter cup of that. Nice little flavor in the background. And then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of herbs de Provence. Now, if you don't have herbs de Provence, you can always improvise. You can do a combo of crushed dried rosemary, marjoram, thyme. That's basically what's in here. Plus there's some lavender in here as well. So you could do a combination of any of those that you like. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of the herbs de Provence. I really enjoy the herbs de Provence. It's a great, if you've not used it before, it is a really nice combination. It works really deliciously on roasted vegetables, but you can use it for just about anything. It's got a really nice flavor to it. So we're going to give that a stir and incorporate everything. And we're going to let this continue to cook for another 45 minutes or so. We want this to start to get nice and thick. And then when we come back, we're going to be ready to can it up. The other step that you can do if you choose to, which I'm going to do because I prefer it that way, the original recipe in the Ball Canning book says that you can can it up as is once it starts to thicken. But if you prefer a smoother texture, you can use an immersion blender to make your jam nice and smooth, and that'll help take care of some of the skins and the seeds. So that's what I'm going to do because that's the way I prefer it. You could also do it in a blender in batches if you wanted to make it smooth that way, but I have an immersion blender which I love, and it is so easy to use. So if you don't have an immersion blender, I highly recommend getting one if you like doing cream soups or anything of this nature. So when we come back, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to water bath can it. I did want to mention one more thing. At this point, we want to cook it on a medium heat, so you want to reduce your heat a little bit because we've added that sugar, and we certainly don't want any of that to burn. And we want it to kind of cook off at a slower rate this time. So go ahead and reduce your heat to medium. You just want a nice simmer so that it starts evaporating and concentrating, and we get that delicious flavor. So turn down your heat, and I'll bring you back. Okay, guys, we are back. My tomato jam is pretty well done. As you can tell, hope you can tell, okay, that it's nice and thick now. But at this point, you could just go ahead and can it or cool it and store it however you would want to do that. It is done, but we're going to can ours. We're going to water bath can it. And anyway, you can keep it this texture. This texture is totally fine, but I want it to be smoother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my immersion blender, and that's what this guy is. And it will get rid of all the skins and make everything nice and smooth. Okay guys, we are ready to start water bath canning our delicious tomato herb jam. It's so good. It's nice and thick, as you can see, and it's pretty smooth now that I used my immersion blender. This is the texture that I prefer, but like I said before I did it, that texture is fine too. It's all what your preference is. So now we're going to water bath can it. Modern canning guidelines state that if you are canning for 10 minutes or longer, you no longer need to sterilize your jars or lids. You just want them squeaky clean and very well rinsed, which is what I've done. If you've seen any of my other canning videos, you know that I just keep my jars hot in my sink full of hot water. So we're ready to go. So let's get a couple of jars here. I also have my water bath canner is full of simmering water. You want to make sure that the water is going to come up at least an inch above your jars. 1 inch to 2 inches is what is recommended for proper water bath canning. And I did want to mention that I got a new water bath canner. I'm so excited. This is my first time using it. Actually, my husband purchased this for me. I had heard about this canner, and I was in need of a new one. The one that I had was nice, but the basket was constantly rusting, and it was a pain, and I didn't really like the basket that came with it. The jars didn't sit very level on it, and it was hard putting the jars, putting them in and taking them out. They wanted to fall all over the place because of the way the basket was made. So I saw this on Amazon, and I had put it on my wish list and thought, oh, I'll just buy it later when we get close to canning season. Well, my husband saw that it was on my wish list, and he just went ahead and ordered it for me. So I have him to thank for it, and it is the Victorio water bath canner. It is all stainless steel, so there's going to be no rusting. I can already tell I like the basket better the way that it's made. Your jars will sit nice and flat and won't flip-flop all over the place. And the other thing that's really cool about this canner, I don't know, hopefully that'll show up on camera okay, is it has your zones for canning for your altitude, and it's got a little gauge here that tells you when you're at the right temperature for canning, so you know when to start your timing. So isn't that great? So anyway, this is my first time using it, so I'm excited to give it a try and see how I like it. But so far I have made stock in it, so it makes a great stock pot also. So back to canning. So we've got 2 jars, and I'm gonna ladle our tomato jam in our jars, and we're looking for a 1/4 inch headspace, which means they're going to be pretty full. Oops. Do this one. Now the recipe does say that you should get 4 half-pint jars, but it looks like I might get a little more than that. So we'll see here. And then just actually we want to debubble, so just go around your jar with your debubbling tool, release any air bubbles, and adjust your headspace if you need to. Sometimes when you debubble, it gives you a little more room, and I do have a little bit more in this jar. And then just take your paper towel, I dip mine in white vinegar, and then we're going to clean the rims of our jars really well so we get a really nice seal. And then we're going to place our lid, and then add our rings fingertip tight. Okay guys, I ended up getting 6 half-pint jars. The recipe said it would get 4, and honestly I canned it up last year, so I don't really remember if I had extra. So I'm not sure. I weighed my tomatoes, so I know I had exactly 6 pounds, and I did everything according to the instructions, so I'm not sure how I ended up with 2 extra half-pint jars, but I did, and it's totally fine, obviously. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and lower them into our water bath canner. I'm going to add my white vinegar. If you've watched any of my other canning videos, you know I like to do that because it keeps your jars nice and clean during the canning process and doesn't allow the minerals in your water to deposit on your jars. That can be really hard to get off. So the vinegar is a nice trick, and we're going to go ahead and put our lid on, crank our heat up to high. You're going to bring it up to a full rolling boil, and I'm going to see how accurate my little gauge is here. Full rolling boil, start timing, and we're going to time 10 minutes. When our 10 minutes is up, you're going to turn off your heat, remove your lid, let your jar sit for 5 minutes, and then we can take them out of the canner. And I will bring you back. Okay guys, we are all done. I did my timing for my processing time for 10 minutes, and then I turned my heat off, took the lid off, and let my jar sit in my canner for 5 minutes. and now they're ready to come out of the canner. And just as an FYI, the gauge on the lid worked perfectly. As soon as it got up to a full rolling boil, it was in the green area, telling me that that was time for me to start timing, and it stayed in that green area the whole time. So if you're in the market for a new water bath canner, this one is great. I'm very impressed with it and I really like it. So here we go with our tomato jam. You guys, this stuff is so good. You can use it obviously as a dipping sauce, just like you would ketchup with French fries or chicken nuggets or whatever you use for dipping in ketchup. Perfect for that. It's great with cheese and crackers, as a condiment for cheese and crackers. Great for a basting sauce while you're grilling, and obviously it's delicious in the meatloaf, which is how I originally used it. So I'm going to link that video for you up here. If you have not seen my meatloaf on the grill video, you need to give it a try. If you use the tomato jam and you do your meatloaf on the grill, it takes it to a whole new level. So I hope you'll give it a try. But I'll give you an up close look at the tomato jam. See how pretty it is? And it's about the texture of, the thickness of regular ketchup. And like I said, I ended up with a little more. I know the canning book says about 4 half-pint jars and I got 6, so it just depends. So I just recommend that I did cook mine even longer than the cooking times they recommended in the bulk canning book in that recipe. So just cook it to your desired thickness. If you want it super thick, you just continue to cook it and it will continue to concentrate, and some of the moisture will evaporate for you and it'll be nice and thick and rich. But this, I'll show you how thick this is. This is a little bit of what I had left over. You can see that's pretty thick, but it's so good. Those delicious herbs de Provence, and then you've got the complexity of a little bit of the wine in the background. Really, really delicious. So I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks for coming along with me today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of the fun. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who support my channel by watching. I've had a lot of new subscribers lately, and you guys leave me the sweetest comments and the kindest words, and I love it when you ask me questions or have comments. So keep the comments and the questions coming, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.